Well, gentlemen, truly good to see you all. The first Nevik Zoom meeting at 7:30 ever, and we managed to get all the same faces, so I guess emails still work. But I think hopefully it's working better for you guys overall. Maybe gives you a little more time to get your dinner in. Um, and it was a suggestion posed to me. I thought that works. I mean, my only preference is as long as we end by 9:30, it works for me because I have an early rise the next morning because I work from home today and Thursdays I'm in the office. But at any rate, so it's perfectly fine. So let's start with some announcements here. There aren't a lot, but it's pretty much on the calendar because right now I would claim this time of year through mid-October is our what I call like the peak of activity in the vintage electronics world. We have a lot of good things going on here, because on September 14th, in fact, I just updated the calendar over the weekend, so I realized I had gotten around to updating TBD dates. Uh, for those of you into vinyl, the Music Expo's vinyl record show is going to be in Salem, New Hampshire, and it'll be on the September 14th. And of course, need I say more? September 19th to 20th cuts down. So I imagine a number of you will be going. Bob, I assume you'll be going and doing your videoing and telling us all about it and the meetings that follow.
I'm ready. I can't wait.
Cool. Well, I'm looking
I
forward to
can't
the
wait. I
post.
feel like when that comes around twice a year, it's like I feel like the luckiest kid on the planet because I get Christmas twice a year.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get myself on that Christmas list one of these years and head out there. That's definitely got to do that. So yeah, that's big. And of course, then on September 21st, we have another flea at MIT Swap Fest. So that weekend is just chock full of stuff. And then of course on September 27th, the most important meet on the planet will be our fall Brookline Vintage Electronics Swap meet from 7:30 to 12. If you haven't bought a table and are thinking about it, there's still tables available, but things will start, we'll probably get the hockey stick effect where people start buying, fairly soon. But I've been posting the latest table assignments on the website. So there's still plenty of tables to be had, but if you're looking for things like power, start thinking about it soon if you want to be inside the building. Um, and then, but wait, there's more. Um, uh, on September 28th, we have the original New England vinyl record and CD show in Dedham, Massachusetts. And so there's for more vinyl and also for those looking for CD. And then wait, there's even more. The first weekend in October, October 3rd and 4th, is Near Fest 38 in New Boston, New Hampshire. And I'm sure a number of you guys will be already going like this, your hands and planning to go. Um, and then on October 4th, there'll be the New England Wireless and Steam Museum Yankee Steam Up and Car Show. So just for the next few weekends, we are just loaded. In fact, let me throw a couple more October dates at you. Um, on the 5th of October, we have another Music Expo's Guitar and Vinyl Record Show in Dedham, Massachusetts. And then on October 7th to the 11th will be the AWA annual conference in Rochester, New York. So we are just packed with stuff um in the next few weekends and weekdays for some of this stuff. So if you guys are like really bored, this is time you will not be bored. So those are my
John, I
yeah,
didn't mean to interrupt you, but
sure.
were you going to mention the Nutmeg Ham Fest down in Southern Connecticut?
No, but please do because I didn't know about it. So this is my opportunity to ask people, tell me about stuff I didn't know.
I got to give me a second here.
Sure.
I got to look at my phone.
Sure. Take your time, Gary.
And there it is, and it is a Sunday, October 12th. It's a
So,
Nutmeg Ham Fest. It's in Meriden, Connecticut,
Meriden, Connecticut. Okay.
at
Um,
the Maloney High School.
hey, Gary, if you have a chance, I don't know if you have my email address. If you could, you probably do just by responding to the even the meeting privately message me on the meeting invite, is send it to me because I'll throw it on our calendar. Because
Okay.
these are things I love to do. So if you have other dates you want to throw my way, I'll definitely put it on there because I don't have much in the way of Connecticut coverage, but there are members in you and Bob Harris, and I'm sure there are a few other Connecticut members. I know Mike Urban, people like that are NEVIC members who are Connecticut located. So I want to feel like I don't represent you guys well enough. So happy to do it.
Okay. I'll get it to you somehow.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it. Looks like Paul threw something my way. Hey, speaking of which, Paul, if you have a chance, throw me do you know the dates of your November?
I just put it in the chat.
Awesome. Exactly. Read my mind because they gotta update our website. It's the one thing I said,
I'll email you a higher res than the one I stuck in the chat.
I appreciate it because that way I want to get the NJARC date because I have a TBD right now on that because I looked on your website, couldn't find it. I said, I'll reach out to either you or Rich and thank
Our,
you.
our
Appreciate it.
website is perpetually behind.
Well, it'll be better, right?
But we're working on it.
We're chipping away at it.
Yeah. November 22nd. All right. Thank you for that. I'll go download that baby so that way
Well, I can email you a higher res one. That one's tiny.
sure. But that's
John,
awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
if I sent you the info in the chat, would that help too?
Yeah, they could do that because I can copy it, cut and paste it out.
Let me try that. I've never done that before.
But
Using the chat.
yeah, it's just as a chat. If you go down the chat, which is at the slightly to the left of center, and you at the bottom bar on your Zoom window, there'll be a chat, and you can just throw whatever you want. If everyone can see it, you can either unicast me or tell everybody. Hey, I'm gonna tell everybody.
Okay, type message here.
Yeah, there you go.
While you're doing that, I will shamelessly plug the NJARC. It's an indoor meet, and it's coming up on Thanksgiving time. So while you folks are visiting folks in New Jersey, stop in.
All right.
How's that for
Yeah.
a shameless plug?
No, that's what I ask people to do because this is what sharing, among members among all the states try to cover is maximize our coverage. And I'm sure there are events, we're just not aware of, but the more we cover, the better. And so yeah, one of these days I'd like to get to one of those NJARC meets because I do have family in New Jersey, so I really do need to go and visit them as well.
Oh,
So it'd be
what
good.
part of New Jersey?
So I have let's see here. It's Flanders and also hold on. Oh gosh.
What exit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right up
Ouch.
287. It'll come to me in a little bit. I'm brain
Fla-
blocked.
Fla-
But
Flanders is gorgeous. Plan on meeting them in the summer because then you can stop over at New Jersey's Big Ham Fest, which is
uh,
just up the road in Sussex
Sussex.
okay.
Big ham
at,
fest.
at the fairgrounds.
Martinsville. That's it. That's what I remember.
Oh,
Martinsville?
Martinsville?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
between me
about
and
two
Paul.
miles from Martinsville.
What's that?
I'm about 2 miles from Martinsville.
You're kidding. Wow. Yeah, I've got a
No,
cousin who's there.
I actually I'm close to it too. Paul's closer to Martinsville than I am, but it for me it's 10 minutes.
Do you remember whereabouts in Martinsville?
I have to pull up the address. I literally have to. I don't have the address in front of me. It's probably
Tell
my.
them you, tell them you
It's
got a fellow club member over on Froland Drive. They'll know where it is because I got the Hamilton School up the way from me here a bit.
the thing is, I know my cousin is not much into vintage electronics, admittedly.
Well,
Um,
we can fix that.
yeah, I know. Well, you know what? He does have one of those. I mean, I know it's going to be, uh, you know, maybe I would say maybe not frowned upon, but I know he has some Marshall devices, so I know that
Well,
he's
that's good.
so he says some stuff. Um, but yeah, he's a good guy. He works for Hormel. He is a sales manager. He has a big territory area. Um, I owe him a visit, I am sure. But
If
yeah,
you're
so I got to get more reason to get down there and visit you guys.
if you're going to be in the area, let me know. We'll have some lunch or something. 'Cause I'm just a
Definitely.
couple miles from you.
Yeah, well, if I get someone coordinated, so I go to one of your events, see you guys at your events, have some lunch, see my cousin. I got to go
Yeah,
make that happen. It'd be
go to a
awesome.
nice New Jersey diner.
There you go.
We do have good diners.
I used to have family in Morris Plains as well as Belle Meade, which is near Princeton area.
Yeah.
So
Bell Mead's short distance from Bob and I, down 206.
okay, yeah, I've been at Belle Meade plenty of times back many years ago when I was in high school,
We
college.
have some of our meetings at Princeton University. We have a professor over there, Mike Littman. He's a really good guy, and if you guys talk to him, you'd love him because his knowledge is fantastic, and he's also into old cars and old motorcycles.
Does
He's got some really cool. I mean, I did some stuff for him like 5 years ago. I worked with a couple of his graduate students on a project, and he gave me the full on tour, and he was showing me everything, and my head was spinning. I thought I was going to snap my neck, but just a super nice guy.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I've been on the Princeton campus because when I was visiting my cousins, my family there in Belmead, they had tickets to a hockey game there. It was I think it was Princeton versus Dartmouth.
Nice.
So it was nice rink. It was like the old, classic ivy covered rink and all the
When
buildings.
I was a really, 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 really young lad, one of the first concerts I ever went to go see was Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Wow.
They played at Jadwin Gym on Princeton campus.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
I was like 3 rows behind Keith Emerson's stack of keyboards. I was just
Wow. They were a remarkable band back in the day.
yes, it was just
Remarkable.
so I have fond memories of the Princeton area. It's just really cool.
Wow, that's cool. Wow, great stories. Look at that. That's good stuff.
I used to go down to there was a shop down there, Bellmead Garage. It's a Plymouth dealership. And they had a lot of obsolete parts never sold. I used to go down there and get Mopar parts from them.
Ah,
Bellmead Garage now sells, I'm trying to remember what brand of tractor. They got out of the car business. They're selling tractors now. Mahindra, I believe.
If,
interesting.
if any of you guys ever plan on going to the Princeton area, there's one really kind of obscure, out of the way place, but when you find it, it'll make your head spin. Princeton Record Exchange. It's in a really weird looking building. The parking is, you could find a place to park. It's a little awkward to try to park, but when you go inside, no matter what your favorite music is, you will find it, and you'll find it in pretty much any format that you're looking for. Whether it's long play, 45, 78. They have
Wow.
78s there. It's
Wow.
crazy.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
fun place.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah.
is. I try to avoid it because I know I'd leave like lots of money there.
I used to go once in a while with my old next door neighbor when he was still in the area. He was quite the record collector, and we'd ride down once in a while and get some records. He had it was Bob Johnson was his name. He since has passed. He was a PhD chemist, had a list of 28 patents to his name or something like that. And he loved music. He had, and being a chemist, everything he owned was carefully cataloged.
Ah,
He
sure.
had his record collection was laid out like a library in his music room. He had at one point he only listened to classical and opera, and he had some 1,200 operas in his collection. And then something changed because he used to hate rock and roll, and then all of a sudden he liked rock and roll. And he came over one day and he goes, "You listen to rock and roll?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Have you heard Lou Reed?" I said, "Yeah, I have some Lou Reed albums here." He goes, "What do you think of Rock and Roll Animal?" He goes, "I just borrowed it from the library." I said, "Well, here, take my copy and hang on to it for a while." And then we started going down to Princeton and swapping records and the whole bit. And he probably had, by the time he retired and moved out of the area, he probably had somewhere north of 3,000 rock and roll albums.
Wow. Cool stuff.
Everything you could find anything. Bob, do you have such and such? And he'd pick up his book and yeah, that's on that shelf there.
That's funny.
Well, how else can you keep track of that many records? I'd be in trouble. I can't keep track of my tubes, and Bob knows I only have a fraction of what he has.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think if I ever had a big flood here, I mean, we had a flood like about a month or so ago, but if we had like a really seriously, get out the ark and start bringing in the animals in pairs kind of rain, my house would float because I have so many vacuum tubes in the basement. We just rip the house out of the foundation and it would just
If you
float
just let
while
the
everybody
dust.
else.
As long as you save two of each tube type.
I've got like a lot of ham stuff. I've got transmitter tubes and stuff like that. So they hold a lot of air. So I would kind of help that, take some of the weight
Oh, I
off the
see.
foundation.
Yeah, that's funny. That's true though. But well, I guess we can may as well go around the room and see what's people are up to here. But certainly a fun start to the meeting. But so I'm gonna arbitrarily pick on somebody. How about you, Noah? What have you been up with going on in Texas?
Well, the last time we spoke, and I don't know whether this is should be saved for the off-topic Zoom meeting, but it is a vintage electronics kind of thing. I was having some issues with electroluminescence
Oh yes, yes,
on
yes. The old dashboard issue.
the old dashboard issue. And I thought I would kick off. Let me see. If I click on that, I guess I have to try to share.
Oh yeah. Let me enable that. Apologies. Let me.
Sharing is not turned on.
Ah, yes, I know.
Android.
The host is doing a there we go. He said actually, well, that's nice. They finally gave a change where you can actually make a request and I can actually allow it. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. They finally changed that because so yes, now you have full sharing and the rest of you too.
I won't know if it's working or not until you tell me.
Right. Right now I see none other than the rest of you guys.
Maybe I have to click on it. Oh, okay. Here we go. So let me do this. I highlighted it.
There it goes.
Yeah, we're about to starting to paint. Ah,
There we go.
So this is what the electroluminescent power pack looks like. And it basically takes 12 volts, or if the car is running, it's probably 13.8 to 14.4 if your alternator is in good shape.
sure.
12
Yeah.
volts comes in here, and there's a transformer, and there's a transistor, and a couple of resistors and a capacitor, and this is usually the capacitor that causes the problem and diminishes the voltage. So you get 13, 14 volts DC coming in here, and you get anywhere from, depending upon not only the age, but sometimes you can even play games with the value of the capacitor, but you can get anywhere from 230 to maybe 350 volts AC at 400 hertz out of this side. And that's what excites the layers of the electroluminescence of the dashboard of my old 60, 61, 62 Chryslers with their space age looking dashboards. And then it was also used in the 66 and 67 Dodge Charger.
Yes, indeed.
And as it comes to pass, it's also used in like the mid to late, the 2005 to 2000, who knows when, like Chrysler 300 and Dodge Magnum dashboards. But apparently the 1960s design was a little more robust than the than the 2006 version, which
Yeah,
would
that's
kind of fade
surprising.
away and not do all that well. So there was this long drawn out procedure that was not too expensive, but a real pain in the butt to tear apart the entire dashboard to install this retrofit kit that was pretty cumbersome and took a fair amount of soldering skills on little PC boards and stuff. And said, well, since I already have an electroluminescent power pack, I mean, how different can electroluminescence really be over the years? It's still kind of the same voltage ranges. It still runs in a car around off of 13 to 14 volts, and it still puts out a couple hundred volts AC. Part of the instructions for the cumbersome way showed where the connection was to the backlighting of the electroluminescence in the Dodge Magnum.
Hmm.
So what if I just use one of my old power supplies and I connect up to those wires and see what happens? And so what I wound up doing, see if I can actually pull this off because now I have to try to share something different.
Could you put that in the chat?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if I can finish talking about it first before I try to do something too
Fancy.
clever. So maybe if I stop the share of that so I can kind of get a bit more control over what I'm trying to show next. Okay, so now I am going to, I wonder if I have to, do I have to re-request a share or can I just hit share?
You should better just share. Yeah, you're good to go. That was
All right,
just
let me lift this up and then hit share and then see if I can hit this and hit that.
Yeah, there it goes.
So this is kind of what it looked like. And this is even like with
oh, yeah.
daylight conditions because these gauges are sort of buried down into
Yeah.
these little cans. And it's like that was just like totally unacceptable. And as you could imagine, at nighttime, you were just totally flying blind, not really being able to see how much fuel you had left or if you were overheating or what speed you were going.
Yeah.
So
No question.
I'm gonna have to put this thing away because I think there's a button I need to hit. So anyhow, I couldn't live with that, and I didn't want to do the cumbersome approach. So I took the old-fashioned one and looked it up and said, well, what could possibly go wrong? And I hooked it up, and then I flicked the switch, and then look at the difference in the backlight. And this
Oh
is in
yeah.
daytime. It goes from being basically dark and in shadows to where it's easily quite visible.
Oh,
The
so
backlit,
the whole panel lights up. You're saying
yeah,
glows.
all the white area lights up so that you can
Oh,
then see the red that's on top and the black letters and the orange needle. So,
okay.
and at nighttime, it's really bright at nighttime.
Right.
This is now a daytime shot.
Sure. Right.
You know,
Well, that's cool. So, hey, look at that.
so I consider that to be a success. That's the before and that's the after, and nothing burst into flames or anything, and it's still working. So I'm using my 1960s vintage electronics to power my 2006, I guess, quasi vintage dashboard, given the fact that we're now talking about 2025, and it's still kind of hard for me to believe that this is a 19-year-old car because it seems like a new one to me. But
Indeed, but even now older, with the courtesy of a 1963,
yep. So
circuitry. Wow, that's really cool.
yeah, so I didn't, things got away from me a little bit. I was going to try to do the nighttime comparison, which is like a huge difference, but then I forgot and it was getting late. And it's like, oh no, the Zoom is tonight. I got to just go out there in the daytime and see what it'll look like. And it gets the point across.
No, it was just going to be the permanent solution. You got to put everything back and put the 63 Chrysler circuitry as the permanent solution.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
That's cool. Now
There
that's
was
where they have.
no, there was no soldering involved to speak of, nothing on a circuit board because the two wires that illuminate all this backlight electroluminescence were just push-on connectors onto the circuit board. They weren't even soldered on. And then my little power pack just has 12 volts in and a ground that just goes to any part of the anything that's steel behind the dashboard. So
Awesome. That is really one of the few times I've heard of a retrograde successful fix. Probably
yeah, I went
into.
right. Yeah, usually you go forwards, right? You resto mod something, put some modern technology in your old car. I've put some old technology in my modern car.
There you go.
But
Now you've started a trend.
So those are driven by AC then.
yes, yeah, about roughly about the more AC, the brighter it gets. I only have this set to probably about 230 volts. But it's the dimmer switch, that's on the dashboard
Mhm.
basically controls the DC that feeds that circuit that then
Right.
determines how much AC comes cranking out the other side.
Interesting.
So I could make it brighter, but I mean it's
Right enough.
it looks like that in the daytime. It's it's very bright
That's
in the
funny.
nighttime. So
That's cool.
that's what I did.
That's an awesome story. Now you have to do now is your next step is to get one of those. I know it'd be coming from like something more like a Cadillac. Get one of those eyes that control your high beams. Slap it on your dashboard
Oh
there.
yeah. The what did Cadillac called it, the Autronic Eye. I can't
Yeah,
Exactly.
remember.
GM literally had that on all their cars, I think from 58 to, I don't know when they stopped using it, 60 or 61, maybe. I forget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were pretty cool.
it was a pretty. The Chrysler did it. Of course, they had to do it differently. The what Chrysler did was the rear view mirror was mounted on the dashboard, which
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of silly, but it was mounted on the dashboard, and they had a rear view mirror. It was an automatic day night mirror, and it was
Mhm.
about an inch thick because it had a vacuum tube inside of there, and a photo cell. So
Oh, jeez.
not
Whoa.
only would it, that's where the electronics were for when headlights were coming at you through your windshield to do the auto dimming of your headlights. But it
Oh.
also had a little round hole where the silvering of the mirror that you looked into was, cleared away, so that if a car was behind you with lights on hitting your rear view mirror going into your eyes, it would auto do the day night thing from behind. So, you didn't have to worry about you didn't have to worry about flicking the mirror from day to night when the car was behind you, and you didn't have to worry about doing the high beams when cars were coming at you.
That's pretty cool. I bet you that's not a common option to be found.
No,
That's cool.
I had one on my 61 Chrysler Coupe,
Ah,
and I didn't hang on to it and swap it out and just put a normal one in there. So unfortunately, when I sold that car, that accessory went away. So I don't have that on my current 61. So
okay. Darn. I'm sure that was a hefty charge at the time.
probably was. And
Yeah.
it was a little odd, there were issues with sensitivity and whatnot. If you were driving down a city street at night with the street lamps on, it could sometimes like just get it to start oscillating, with the dimming thing. It would
Yeah.
see the street lights and then dim the headlights, and then you go past that light, and then
Wait.
you come back up, and then you go to the
Ba,
next light, and you
ba,
go back
ba,
down.
ba.
Cop pulls you over. Why'd you flash me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. I'd love to see when those mirrors taken apart to see the circuitry and so forth, especially with the vacuum tube in there. I'd love to,
I
that would
mean,
be
it
fun to
was,
see.
the typical mirror is, whatever, 3/8 of an inch thick, maybe, or something, as it's
Yeah.
mounted on there. This was over an inch thick for this thing. It had a big black plastic case on the back side of the mirror to hold all the electronics and everything.
That's not only a high tech for the time device, it's also a weapon if you can get off your dashboard.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's cool. That's a great story, Noah. It's one of the first. I'm sure that's worth sharing with the Mopar gang about, hey, how to fix your mid 2000, late 2000 Chryslers if you don't have anything, if you want to spend the money for that kit
Yeah.
to
Now I
upgrade
just
it.
have to figure out, see if I can copy and paste it into the chat.
There you go. All right. Well, while you're looking at that, let's see here. Gary, how's it going out down there? I thank you for the chat. I saved it off and I will post it on our website over the weekend. And I'll find if there's a website link, I'll go look for it. I'll do a search for it. If I can, I'll add a website to it. Oh, Noah, you got it on something.
I'm a genius.
Look at that. Wow, look at
Thanks,
that.
Noah.
I have a question for Noah. Um, Chrysler seemed to be the only U.S. brand that I'm aware of that had the mirror on the dashboard for a while, and they eventually moved it up to the top.
Yep.
Any reason why they put it on the dashboard, do you think? Or
GM did that
I'm
too.
sure there was, but it escapes me at the moment what it was. You'd probably have to look at some sales brochure or marketing brochure, or probably one of those old Mopar training films for the sales reps of explaining how it was so much better to be right there on the dashboard. Like, I don't know, maybe more level going straight back out the rear window instead of having to reach up there to mess around with it. I have no idea.
I don't know if it's fact or fiction, but I talked to a guy at a car show one time, and that came up in the conversation. He said that, and he was like, he was big Chrysler dude. He had probably like 4 or 5 different Chrysler products, and he said that was a Virgil Exner thing. That's why, like, when the what was it, 57, 58 Furies had that weird steering wheel. That was a
Yep.
Virgil Exner
Oh,
thing too. So
yeah, he
yeah,
was.
he had a lot of pull, and that was the kind of stuff that he said that he just did.
Yeah. Well, the
So I
flat
don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's
well
what he
the
told me.
flatter bottom on the steering wheel was to give your thighs more room.
Right.
So if it was
Right,
round,
but it had like rounds. It has such a weird. It's fun. It's
What?
fun to look at. It's a weird looking.
What?
Really.
No, wasn't it the 59 Dodge and Plymouth? Maybe not the Plymouth. Maybe the Dodge and the Chrysler had that swivel seat.
Nope.
That was a
well, my 61 has swivel seats. Yeah, they're
okay. That was his Virgil X their idea too,
Yep,
supposedly.
power swivel seats. Yeah.
Hey, and those carried forward not the swivel seats into the 70s.
Oh yeah.
So, GM adopted, geez, you could every so often you see on, old car things, just like,
Yeah.
Chevy Monte Carlo with the swivel bucket seats,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and now that I have moved on into my 70s, they might start coming in handy for me.
Indeed, indeed.
One of one of the things that always interested me is the battle between the car companies that wanted to have digital speedometers that just threw a number in front of you, and the guys that wanted a pointer. And I think the thing that settled it was they did a test with pilots, and they showed pilots different instruments for a short time that showed what their altitude was, and they found that the pointer pilots could identify the correct altitude faster with a pointer than with a great big number in front of them. Doesn't make sense, but it apparently, I don't know. Anybody have any input on
Yeah,
that?
you don't need to read an analog instrument. You just become familiar with the position. And I know that from when I was racing motorcycles. When you have your knee down on the track and you're trying to upshift in a corner, you shift by the sound of the engine. But if you know you've gone beyond that, your eye will swing down to the tack, and you're not going to read the tack. You just know how far into the red you are before you wind up either breaking something or getting into fuel cutoff.
Ah,
Both of which are going to result in the wreck.
Yeah.
I had heard that people that race boats turn their gauges so a normal reading is always vertical.
We do that on the bikes too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
rotate the
then
gauges.
now they're not reading anything. They're all pointing up. You're good.
Your eye just sweeps, and if everything's pointing up, you're good. Keep going.
Interesting.
My 2015 Ford Flex has a digital number and a pointer, and they never agree.
That's called a confusometer.
There's a somewhere between a 2 and 3 mile an hour difference between what the number says and where the pointer is pointing, which came in handy.
officer, I was reading the wrong speedometer.
Exactly. Well, and that's that did me well when I was in my Hewlett Packard test equipment selling days, because I would be like, well, if you got 2 meters and they don't agree, that the only solution to that is to get a third one so you can get a majority vote, and then so just buy a third one.
Well,
reminds me of a friend of mine, guy who bought a lot of Enigmas from me because he was the guy who invented the radar speed detector that you have on your dashboard, and he still to this day gets $1 for every one of those that are sold. So he's got more money than anybody I can imagine. And he finally decided, after buying 3 or 4 Enigmas, that he was going to go into competition with WWV. And WWV has an atomic time standard. And well, this guy bought 2 atomic time standards and averaged them and put the correct time on the internet on his private website.
Interesting.
That's funny. But I'll throw that.
The old Chinese proverb trick was, that A man with one watch always knows what time it is. A man with two watches is never sure.
Quite sure.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's a motto among watch collectors.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes for speedometers too, the digital and the analog, never sure.
Don't forget
Yeah.
the digital device is plus or minus one digit in the last digit.
Sure.
Has to be.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on my Audi, I've got the virtual cockpit, and I have both a digital representation of a analog gauge as well as a number. So I better agree. So
That's right.
I've got and the number, so I've got them both. You know.
Yeah, my daughter has both the analog and the digital in her little Chevy Cruze, and they're pretty close.
Yeah.
I believe the analog is just representation. I don't believe that's mechanical.
That's
I think it's a
interesting.
made-up pointer.
Maybe. May well be. But well, cool. Cool. This is fun. So Gary, you had nothing else to add. I just wanted to make sure I gave you your proper airtime.
I do have something. I don't recall if I've ever shown this here.
Yeah, well,
I'll move it closer.
yeah, go ahead.
Disconnect the wires. I may have shown this before, but
I don't remember seeing this.
this is a DZ kit.
A DZ kit.
It's a shortwave kind of now or an all wave radio, and it uses SDR. I'll hold it up a little. An SDR play receiver,
Okay.
Raspberry Pi to control everything. And basically, you build all the power supplies that it needs. And you build the audio amp, and you build the code practice oscillator, and of course you do all the interconnecting wiring. There's a bunch of that's cables, though.
Wow. No, I've not seen that before. So must have well, be interesting to see what the display looks like.
Yeah, I might be able to. Have to
Oh.
Well, they made up the display. The display is it's like a they make it look like the oh, where can I plug this in? Oh, yeah, give me a second.
No, no problem.
Unused outlet in a ham shack? That's almost impossible to find.
They're all taken. Yeah.
Oh, you got one over your helicrafters in the back, but that's too far from the camera.
Right.
Over the helicopters in the back.
I believe that's a helicrafters all the way to
Oh, to your left, Gary?
This one? Wait a minute, that one?
No,
No,
way
no.
over, way left.
Way left. Keep going, keep going. There you go.
Over the helicrafters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would work, but it's a little too far.
Okay.
I think I can do it here. That helicopters, by the way, that's an SX-100.
Nice.
Beautiful radio.
Looks
And
really
it's
nice.
never been restored, and it is working kind of nice.
It looks great just even for this distance.
What is that called again, Gary?
DZ, the letters DZ kit.
Okay.
Easy kit.
Okay, let's see.
Huh, don't see anything yet.
Easy.
I got to turn it on.
Oh, okay. There we
Okay, and
go.
it takes
Pushy, pushy, pushy.
Oh, I know. Sorry. It's funny. I thought I had it on. Like, oh, okay.
It lit up for a second, then it went out.
Oh no, look,
Putin.
Oh, I see. There's
It
a
does
cursor there. There's a cursor there. There we go. Now it's booting up. And then it must have a little bit of a. Sorry, guy. I didn't mean to torture you like that.
There we go.
now it's a cloud scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Water, mountains, cloud. And
Oh, there it is.
it looks like the Heathkit shortwave receivers from the 60s.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, interesting.
That's kind of neat.
That's pretty
How does
cool.
that compare performance-wise? Because you have some very nice vintage pieces behind you.
No dial string.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
How does it compare performance-wise?
it's okay. It's like a it's a software defined radio. It's not like a modern superhet, and the RF gain control setting is more like a threshold setting for the ABC, and it's another. I haven't really used it enough to get used to it
Okay.
to set it right. So I'm always playing with the R. Even though the ABC is on, I got to play with the RF gain control, especially to get the noise out of an AM signal. But it goes way up there in frequency. It'll do like long wave all the way up to like through 6 meters, maybe through the top of the FM band. Um, and I think the aircraft and the 2 meter band. It doesn't do weather. It stops there, and I think it continues on at a higher frequency.
Mhm.
Uh, they also have software in here where if you want to use the whole complete capability of the SDR Play radio, you could use that other software. But if you use a software that gets you this nice,
That's why.
is that coming out?
Yeah, it's coming up pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
That's
Looks good.
cool. Yeah, I appreciate you going through the trouble, Gary. It's kind of fun to see. So like
It is, and it's kind of an unusual radio. I don't think they sell a lot. This guy, he's in Colorado. He actually did try to buy the Heathkit by the Heathkit company, or at least the name of the Heathkit. But he got outbid by the people that did get the name.
And they're doing nothing really with it.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
haven't gotten far.
I can't just turn this off. I gotta
You got to shut it down.
like
the
a computer.
only thing I guess you could do better, Gary, is to get an electroluminescent display. That's cool. That's really neat.
Hmm,
That Hammerland that's over to your side there, one of the HQ series. Which one is that?
right here.
Yeah,
This is a 180.
it's 180. Yeah.
I, I can move the camera a little bit.
I had a 170. I sold it because I was going to get a 180, and I never did get around to getting the 180.
Oh yeah, there it
That's
is.
nice.
That's a nice bench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a very good looking backdrop, Gary.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You've got some
You
very desirable pieces.
It's not
How
a
does it,
picture. It's a real thing.
how
and
does the how does the radio, the Hammerlin, compare with the GPR 90?
Um, I'm going to say comparable. The 180 it has a product detector, a built-in BFO, so it's single sideband capable very nicely.
Yep.
The GPR 90, I don't use it much as sideband because it's an AM receiver. Though I have plans for the GPR 90 has an IF out and an AF audio frequency in for use of their accessory sideband adapter.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is I can put this more on that.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. The GPR 90 is lovely.
Yeah. Right? It looks fuzzy. Oh, now it's not. Okay.
yeah, there we go. Yeah,
But it's a beautiful looking receiver. I have a B&W 370 receiving sideband adapter and a Central Electronics Slicer B that I could set up to use with it, and that's in a future plan.
Nice.
And then
Yeah,
sideband. I have in the R388 right here. I have the Treetops Circuit sideband adapter built into that, so that does single sideband very nicely in AM.
Gary, I had a GPR 90 and thought it was one of the prettiest rigs I've ever owned, but I wanted to get the matching sideband adapter. That they were going like $800.
Oh, wow.
I just said nuts to that. Plus, that's a heavy sucker.
It is. But I know I have a philosophy now. What I've heard, what I've been hearing. Okay, I guess I should say the word on the street. You can take the sideband adapter with you. You can't take money with you.
Does the GPR 90 have a 455 KCIF for a pan adapter?
Yes, yes.
That'd be a nice combination. I think the 75A4 has a weird IF like 500, doesn't it?
No, I think the 75A4 they switched it to 455. The
Huh.
A1, A2, A3, I think they had. I know the 75A1 had a 500 kilocycle IF.
Yeah. I had an A2 and that had a 455.
That was when they switched then.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
Cool.
Thank you.
What's
Yeah.
above the Hallicrafter speaker?
That is a I was it Palstar, a Palstar ferrite loopstick antenna, and I did try
okay. Yeah, I see okay.
it. You can get 3 loopsticks with it. I only have one with this one for the broadcast band. You can get long wave and you could get the medium wave.
Okay.
Up through 40 meters. But man, I tell you, I've never seen loopsticks for sale individually. This the one I have here is the only thing like that. It's got a little preamp built in it too.
Okay.
It's the only one I've ever seen available for sale that I found. And I kind of have it reserved for if I live someplace where I can't have an outdoor antenna, at least I can pick up the AM broadcast band with that.
Yeah.
Well, a terrific set of equipment you have there, Gary, and nicely organized, nice backdrop. You and Steve buy and get the awards for best backdrop. Yeah.
Well, a lot of you guys have good backdrops too.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's good. Well, Tom always he has always good stuff going on back behind him, especially stuff sitting around the bench and all this. Yeah, I have to give Tom add the Tom to the list there. But actually, as I look more, yeah, actually all you guys do. I have a really boring one. But well, it's cool. Gary, thank you. We're gonna have to make you give us a full tour one of these days when you're up for it.
Oh, sure, sure. I should do that. Because I have been slowly getting rid of things, seriously starting around COVID and until now. So there's other things here that you just don't see.
Oh, all the racks back there.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Don't ignore the model train buildings on top.
Oh, well.
Is that a Drake 1A?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
And right on the top row of radios anyway, that's a SX62. Then it's like a Skyrider 23, 25. With the odd style, the unusual styling. At Drake Interceptor, behind the one by the pole that's holding the shelves up is the all-bander adapter for it. So that combo receives 80 through 2.
Wow.
With the exception of the 12-meter band. Then there's the there. That's right. The Drake 1A. The next to that is a NC19. I can't read the number. NC190. Dual conversion, general coverage. I'm having a problem with that. I started looking at getting that going, and I think I got some IF transformer issues with that one. What's kind of neat about that is that it has a double band spread dial. It's half of you could set it for the handband or you could set it for shortwave bands, depending upon what you're using the receiver for the moment. And then the next one going to the left is my left, maybe you were right, is the NC270. That's a handband receiver. Oh, the 190, that came out like about a year after the one right next to it, the NC270. NC270 is stylized a little better. It's kind of a little more beautiful to look at. It's handbands only. Doesn't have a product detector. The NC-190 has a product detector and receives sideband fine when it's working.
What's below the two nationals?
The two nationals, what you can see there is that's a Gonset G43, and behind the there's a G60. The G43 is a general coverage receiver.
Huh.
Single conversion general coverage receiver. Just next to it is the G63, which is a dual conversion handband only receiver.
Okay. It's a nice collection.
And then there's a great KLR 17 above there, and below that's a SP400. I recapped the SP400 within the last year.
That's a 400
Yeah,
that we're just seeing part of there.
right. The monitor's kind of hid it. It's kind of hiding it.
It looks more like a 129. Oh, I take it back.
Yeah.
You know your radios.
I bet you
Sorry,
there's a
my
lot
hand
more.
is shaking.
No, that's good, Gary.
I am not worthy, Gary.
That's it. And I bet you there's even more behind all of that.
Yeah, there is.
This is just the pretty stuff.
Yes, yeah, this is the stuff I like to look at because I have it facing me.
There we
How's the
go.
1A work?
It receives some signals weekly. I've never done anything about restoring it or making it better.
Yeah.
I have a hesitancy to do that because I kind of view that more as a historic radio.
Yeah.
It's Drake's first one, and I kind of figured maybe it should stay original.
Cool.
Good stuff, Gary. Good stuff.
Just
Bringing much to Kutztown?
what I'm going to bring to Kutztown is a complete Harvey Wells station, the R9A receiver, the T90 transmitter with its power supply, the speaker for the receiver, matching speaker for the receiver, and they had a antenna tuner thing too with a
Wow.
built-in load. I'm bringing all that. And I tell you, the power supply for just for that little transmitter, that power supply weighed a ton. Let me tell you. But you know what works good for carrying stuff upstairs?
A forklift?
Is It's not like I can carry my balance isn't well enough that I can carry stuff upstairs, holding stuff. I use these reusable grocery bags.
Those carts, those little carts?
No, it's not a cart. It's a bag. It's got handles on it, but it's not big.
Oh, really?
It's like they're almost like woven plastic,
Okay.
some kind of thing like that. And I put the radio in there, a radio weight within reason, and I carry it upstairs like that. That way I can keep one hand on the handrail all the time.
You
Makes
just watch
sense.
the handles come off of some of those bags. I've had that happen.
I was worried about that
Double bag it.
when I was carrying the power supply out. I was prepared for that eventuality, but it never happened.
Yeah,
You know
double
what you need,
bag 'em.
Gary?
For what?
You know what you need? A canvas ice bag from a boating supply.
That'll work.
That carries, that's what I always bring to the Hamfest. That'll carry anything.
Oh, okay. I
It
think I
won't
can
come
picture
apart.
that. Right. I think you said you may be at Kutztown on Friday. Maybe if you bring it, make sure I see it.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, I'm finding out with Kutztown, the trip home, excuse me for taking over the conversation.
Yeah, it's fine.
Finding a hotel anywhere around Danbury. I don't know if there's something going on at West Point, but literally they're sold out or the prices are unbelievable. There's something going on in that area. Because I figured I'd go Friday, leave Friday afternoon, start heading back. But man, I don't know what's going on, but
How about how do you go? Do you go like 78 to 287, or do you go through the Delaware Water Gap? Or
Yeah, yeah. And I want to get at least after I leave Kutztown 2, 3 hours under my belt. Because then the next day I'll have 7, 8 hours.
Yeah, break up the trip.
Yeah.
Mm.
Metamoris, Pennsylvania wouldn't be far enough for you, huh? Probably.
I'm sorry, what?
I think it's when I do go by the Delaware Water Gap, I get on 84. I think Metamoris,
Yep.
right on the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York line junction.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of that. That's a fallback. It's not going very far, but whatever. It'll work out.
Mm.
Well, since you have the floor there, Carl, how's it going?
It's going good. We won't talk about boats and boats
Uh,
transmissions
yeah,
because
yeah. The North Star is not so.
The North Star is going to be hauled down in Stonington, Connecticut. So I've had to make all sorts of arrangements. They're going to pull the engine because it's just as easy to pull. It's easier to pull the engine than to just pull the transmission. While they get it out, they're going to just kind of go over it. Uh, but I went down, I drove down Sunday in the rain and spent the night on the boat. And then Monday, I loaded up my Subaru Outback with all the cushions and food and stuff like that. It literally was so filled that I could not see out the rear or the right window. So
Wow,
I just got in the, felt pretty unsafe, got in the right-hand lane and
sure.
put on the I'll call it the automatic driving, but it isn't really that. It just tells you when you're deviating, but it also tells you if someone's on your side.
Yeah.
I forgot all the entrance ramps there would be. But other than that, I got a couple projects going. I'm putting up a 43-foot vertical, gathering the parts for that. I've got most of it. I got to cut a bunch of radials and get some parts from DX Engineering I need. And I also picked up on
Yep. No,
QRZ the other day. I've always wanted a low band antenna tuner. And some guy advertised one from a outfit in Canada that goes down from 200 kilohertz and it goes up to about 10 kilohertz. No, no preamp or anything in it, just a straight antenna tuner. So I thought, well, we'll give that a try. If it doesn't work, it goes back on QRZ. So, and I did pick up the SX28 for the fall auction, and it does work. But I'm not going to play with it too much because with my luck, something will go up in flames. So
Oh,
that's all the news from Maine.
well, hopefully the news will get incrementally better for you, Carl. Sorry to hear about your trials and tribulations on the boat
I,
side. But
well, as my eldest daughter would say, it's a real first world problem, Dad.
indeed.
What, what,
But
what went wrong with the boat? Carl, you had mentioned that the turbo had gone.
Well, I was off Block Island. My plan this year was I always go down from Maine to Connecticut. I was going to continue on, go around the Statue of Liberty. I've never done that. And off of Block Island Sound, the engine just quit. So I've got Sea-Tow, which is sort of like AAA for boats, and they brought me into Stonington. And when the mechanic looked at it, he said, told me that the turbo was gone, which was not a cheap repair, but
no, not at all.
he was pulling it out and he called me. He said, you know, you got a lot of black stuff in your bilge. Long story short, the transmission was leaking
Ah,
fluid, and he drained out. He sent me pictures. It's supposed to be 2 quarts of fluid. He drained it, and he had about 12 ounces of what looked like molasses. Yeah, so and he said, you know, let's pull it out and go over the whole thing. But you know, they're going to pull it and send it to a transmission rebuild shop up in Fall River that works on marine transmissions, and they're either going to give it a thumbs up with a big bill or a thumbs down with a bigger bill. So
oh. Brace
So may
yourself.
have a lot of stuff at Brookline.
What? A transmission on the free table?
Yeah, right. Who would do that? I actually have a ton of stuff I'm going to put on the free table, so
All
just
right,
just got space.
turbos.
Yeah, turbines, transmissions. Anybody wants to rebuild a Yanmar engine, they're all set.
Oh man. Oh well. Sorry to laugh. We're laughing with you, Carl.
No,
Not.
that's all right. I'm done crying.
Well, though at least I'm glad you'll be at Brookline. So even if you
Yeah,
with
oh
the
yeah,
transmission,
yeah. As long as the car keeps working.
see how strong those tables really are.
Right, right, right.
Walk.
See how eager some of those free people are.
You can put a sign that says "I dare you."
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's good. Well, thanks, Carl.
Yep. Thank
So,
you.
Rob, what's going on in Prescott?
Not much. Don't really have anything radio related. Been doing a lot of other weird stuff. Get on that transmission. Well, you're sure that they took the right one because you were there. That's pretty good. This is true on my 381 Chris Craft. Well, this must have been what 6, 7 years ago now. It was the port transmission went out,
Yep.
and I was towed in, did all this. So I hired a local mechanic there, and he promptly went out and took the starboard transmission out
Oh,
and had it rebuilt. And now we
oh,
had an argument. And of course, you don't pay him, you don't get your boat back. That's that.
yep,
So I
yep.
ended up having two transmissions rebuilt.
Oh.
Right, for the price of two. Buy one, but you can have two for the price of two. That was
Well,
an
this is the hull is essentially a lobster boat, so it's only single engine. So
uh,
uh, I should be safe on that.
yeah, these were Paragon transmissions, and so they weren't that expensive, I guess. There's not a lot to them, but anyways,
Well, you
uh,
know what boat stands for, don't you?
oh heck yes,
Yep, break out another 1,000.
yeah,
I like it.
that's true. That's true. Oh, and then the final insult is I had it stored upriver a little ways in Fairhaven, and so then I was moving, but I figured I'll put it up there and sell it. I was gonna I get a letter from the place I had it stored and says, "Oh, they're gonna be doing the whole shoreline along there. Get your boat out now, or it'll be dry docked for 2 years, and full payments for storage applies." And I ended up, it's like if I gave the boat away, I'd be better off. It's like, so I ended up just selling it really, really cheap. And fortunately, the mechanic that I had, not the guy with the transmission. I found another one, and he was doing some really good work. But he went and took the people out, that were going
Yep.
to buy it, and the boat jockey and all this, and I did get it sold before the whip came down on closing off that whole section of the riverbank.
Was this Fairhaven, Mass?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was at Pope's Island at the time.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. And I missed my boat. Now I'm here in the desert. What the heck? What do you do? Oh well. The only other project I've had going on was I have these round LED lights in the ceiling, and I was working in the kitchen doing something, and I hear this big bang, and one of the lights came out and landed on the floor. And I'm thinking, that is weird. And some of the other ones are just coming down a little bit. And so I start looking into it. Sure enough, the next day or next few days, my wife's watching TV and bam, another light comes flying out and it bounces off the floor. So I have pictures of that. It's what it was. I think it's planned obsolescence from Sylvania. These things go in with these little clips, and the plastic. There's just one screw into this shaky little plastic, and they crack, and then
Yeah, they get
they spit
brittle.
the light right down. Yeah. So I went through the whole house. Turns out, and I took them down, and then used super glue to hold them in place, and then put epoxy putty around the whole thing, and put them all back. 33 of them. So I've been busy.
Oh,
Ah,
But I don't think anybody wants to see that car. It's not radio. But it's time consuming and it's not fun. So
but it
you know,
is
what I was thinking
electronic.
about the other day, Rob, with the new LED lights. I remembered as a kid, and maybe even a little older than a kid, those ads you used to see where you could buy light bulbs that lasted 7 years guaranteed or something. And I haven't seen that in a long time.
You know,
no.
you're lucky if you get 7 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think this
Despite
was
what they say.
yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
way that mounting is so flimsy, I think they want them to bust. So you got to buy new lights.
Yeah.
Probably last longer after having 7 beers.
Oh, well,
That's
but that's about it.
all right. Well, thanks, Rob.
Sure.
So Tom, you've been out terrorizing the villagers, hunting for Enigma and other things, and hopefully landed at Friedrichshafen and found lots of good stuff.
Lots of good stuff. Yeah, John. Latest thing we did the Northwest Passage. My wife and I went from Iceland over to Alaska across the entire top of the United States through all the ice, pushing our way through ice. It was a very interesting trip. Might have a couple of things from that to show eventually. The interesting thing to me is every time I go on a fairly serious commercial boat, nobody knows Morse code anymore. And
Mm.
indeed, there are no HF radios on board anymore. Everything is dependent on satellite. And I know a guy in the military who's working, the military itself, is working very hard on what they call a GPS denied environment in which the enemy somehow blocks GPS. And people are relying totally on GPS and on satellites for communication and emergency stuff and so on. Very, very scary. Nobody knows Morse code. Can you imagine that in a serious boat? And it's very scary.
Well, like they did
Mm.
with that the head of NATO, where they blocked the GPS in their plane last week.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's right.
Tom, what line was that cruise on?
I went with National Geographic. They got
Oh, okay,
wonderful
good.
talks. It's the second time I've done it. I wanted to see what the Inuit villages, they're very, very basic life up
Yep,
there, see what they were doing. And it's so far out that there's no such thing as radio in the village. You know,
yep.
you can't get FM, you can't get AM unless you're really lucky and have an antenna out there. So the first time we went through, there wasn't you go into a store, you can't buy a radio because there's nothing to listen to. Just
Yeah.
amazing. And this time there were what is it, SpaceX satellite dishes, these little flat
Yep.
plates, and they were getting news and information through that. But yeah, pretty amazing. So I just
What?
listening to you talking about boats. I've got a 26-foot sailboat in Lake Champlain up here,
Yep.
and I got to get that out of the water before it freezes solid. And
I took I
go
took
ahead.
a transatlantic cruise last March, and I brought a little Tescon portable because I thought that'd be a lot of fun. I could not find a place on the ship where there wasn't so much RFI and noise that I couldn't copy anything
Yeah,
at
and I
all.
took the Queen Mary 2 transatlantic from New York to London, and
Yep.
it is illegal to carry a any kind of radio with you on that boat. I don't know what they're up to, but I had to hide my little Baofeng 2 meter rig in my suitcase in case they would take it away from me. Because I like to listen to the marine radio
Yeah.
when we're out on a boat like that.
I ran a whisper beacon the whole way.
Neat.
So I figured if my 200 milliwatts was going to bother them, then the heck with them.
I got a bunch of things to mention to you. One is that I have a former camper. He was a kid when I was a counselor at camp, and he had hearing problems, and he has gradually lost all of his hearing, and now he's losing his vision. And
Oh,
he never studied Braille, and it's really too late. He's close to being totally blind. And just imagine what it'd be like to be totally cut off from vision and hearing
Yeah.
anything. How do
Yeah.
you communicate with somebody? They're asking me, and I say Morse code, of course, and they'd never thought of that. And clearly, he can learn Morse code. Matter of fact, he's studying Morse code really, really hard right now before he becomes just totally out of touch. But I think that's going to work. I'm just wondering if any of you have had any experience with a totally deaf blind person and communicating with them in Morse code. If not, I'll bring you reports. Any
Interesting.
feedback on that?
Mm.
You know, it'll be tactile buzzes that he feels on his hand, short buzz, long buzz, dot dash, and he'll be able to send Morse code with a telegraph key. Or there's apparently an app for Android phones that allows you to tap the screen in Morse code and it shows up on another phone as letters. And
Mm.
that could be really ideal. And then the idea is that people can type letters into their Android phone and it'll show up on his end as buzzes. So there's some hope for that, but it's just terrifying to think of a person cut off from everything. He's a bright guy, about 70 years old, and anyway, if you come across anything on that, I'd be very
Mm.
interested to hear about it. Let me just see what I've got here. We were. I'll just show you a picture of just we were talking about shacks, and I'll show you a picture of my shack when I was a kid. And unlike Gary, I got rid of it all at some point. But boy, do I wish I still had it. This is my shack in 1954.
Wow.
Uh, you can see, I just take you on a little tour of this thing. You can see the column 75A2 sort of middle, little bit to the left with a Johnson Ranger on top of that, couple of power tubes on that, couple of speakers on the left is a homebrew pair of 813 kilowatt amplifier with driven by a pair of 810 modulators. That almost killed me a couple of times. I was to build it. I didn't know about the keep your hands in your back pocket, dummy. and but that was a pretty good rig. Moving to the right, you got an ICO oscilloscope up on top. What was that? Hammerlin? No. What's that receiver?
National looks like a National 173 or 183.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. A Goonie box 2 meter transceiver on to the right of that, a pan adapter to right under it, and way over on the right, a BC611 handy talkie. Now the showpiece of this shack is this radio in the middle here. Anybody recognize that beauty?
Oh, didn't you do a presentation on that, Tom?
Yeah.
I might have, yeah.
Which one is it, Tom?
It's called Hallicrafter's Dual Diversity.
That's it.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was it.
Two,
That's one. You did a little
yeah.
prezo on that. Yeah.
yeah, two dials, two separate receivers, and two separate antennas, and it all feeds together, and you can connect them all together. And boy, do I wish I had that. But of course, you're young, and something else comes along, you trade it off. It just pretty.
Someone probably offered you $50 for it.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good toys.
Yeah. Anyway, did I talk to you guys about? Can you see this radio? Uh, am I sharing a different radio with you at the moment?
No, no, still showing your shack.
Okay, I gotta go back. Did I talk about the Saba radios that I saw in Friedrichshafen yet?
No, but Saba is the holy grail of German radios.
Yeah, that's surprised me. I had never heard of a Saba before, and when I came across them, apparently they are just absolutely amazingly rare and incredibly expensive. The guy told me what he was charging for it, and it was insane. Let me see if I can bring it
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah,
Uh,
they named those after cities, probably where they made them. Like their top line was the Freiburg.
yeah,
And then there was a Meersburg, which was sort of like the next one down. There we go. Now that, judging from that, that's not, I don't think that's a Freiburg. It may be a Meersburg.
it's a Saba something or other. If I
Yeah.
enlarge it, let's see if I
Is it
can
if
enlarge it.
I think the model may be at the lower right corner, maybe.
Uh,
Yes,
no,
beautiful. Those, those, this is classic from, I say, mid 50s, 55-ish,
yeah,
54, 5, 6 in that range. They're known, Sabas are known for their green cone speakers. Let's see.
this is the Bowden Z, which is
Oh,
the
the Bodensee, yeah.
mo
Um,
name of the lake in right on the border of Switzerland and Germany on the bottom.
yeah, that's it. Thank you. I couldn't because someone that one looks pretty. That's got the automatic tuner, so that's pretty loaded. So I don't know what the difference between the Bodensee and the Freiburg then. Or the
Yeah.
Freiburg, I think this might be closer to a Meersburg because the Freiburg, I think, had the additional speaker because it looks like they're I only see three, which is not bad.
I've
Uh,
got another. I think I have another one coming up here.
yeah.
Let's see. That's not it. That's not
Oh,
it. There we go.
that's a Freiburg, I think.
Yeah.
Now that you can see, look at those speakers. They were the famous green cone speakers. So you looked, the speaker material was actually green.
So,
The
John,
cone.
the guy wanted something like $6,000 for this thing.
Yeah, these
That's
are
just
one of the holy. These are what I mean. I think he's asking a little, like not a little, a lot excessive.
well, he pulled out eBay and he showed me that these
Yeah,
things had sold for that kind of money.
yeah, they
What
do.
on earth can
The,
make a radio worth that much money? There, it's a Freiburg, just like you said.
yeah, if
Yeah.
Freiburg, if you get the automatic tuner, because they have the automatic too, it's a mechanical, electromechanical tuner. It's really
Yeah, I've
pretty
got a
cool.
picture of it in back. He was a really nice guy. He let me take, or he took the panel off for me. And let me see if I can get it to,
Yeah, those one of the top. Yeah, there we go. Yep.
yeah, that's it. That's an electric motor, which is sort of in the middle there, driving, that was that little round thing there and back. I don't know. It's a pretty complicated mechanism, to
Mm.
say the least. It was quite surprising to see that. There's a
Yeah, look at those.
whole view in
See
there.
the green cone, see the green speaker material, the fabric. That's the famous, and you see those are five speakers.
Yeah,
And this cranks. Plus it supports, I think, if you look at the chassis and the lower right about Z sensor, I think there's an auxiliary input. And I think it takes another two speakers. I think if you look in the connectors on the chassis facing the back towards you,
maybe that
there would
one.
be no. I
Oh,
think
over
that's
here.
the
Yeah,
that's go down. It'll be right. You go there. You go. Just go across. There's two 5-pin DIN connectors there. There's another connector, and then two over there. I think this can take another two speakers. This thing is
yeah.
like it is that was probably 65, 64 or 5 roughly is when that's maybe a little earlier, maybe like 62 or 3, but these are
Apparently,
like
there's another motor somewhere over on the right there. He said. And look at that rotatable ferrite antenna
yeah.
up
Mhm.
above the motor.
The top line German radios like Telefunk and Opus and so forth had you could turn on the usually it's the left knob, the inner the outer back ring. You could turn it would turn the ferrite antenna so you could
Oh,
get maximize your some of the lesser models had a little like a little flap like a almost like a fingernail flat like popsicle stick and you could just turn it grab it by it and turn the ferrite antenna from reaching from the back of the radio, which is kind of crude because they're like, oh, how crude, how quaint, when you could go with the nice knob on the upper line radios.
so
But
let me see, where would the adjustment be on the front here for
so
that?
so probably okay, now I think you press a button if we go to the right, I think it's one of the second or third button to the left on the key, the piano key buttons. I think it's like the second or third from the left. And then I think it's I want to say it's one of the, it may be the same left knob, outer ring may turn it. It's a clutch, I think.
Hey, what's up?
I have to see. Usually the Ferrite had a dedicated button. Now maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I think I actually remember seeing one where you press it. That's stereo. That's the auxiliary. Let's see. Maybe it's on the other side.
It looks like a
Automatic.
magnifying glass, like you use that to hunt for a station.
Well, that typically is auxiliary input.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, it's a phonograph needle.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then so I see that's right now the button's down for FM, which is up good for 100 megahertz probably. The automatic, that button next to it, to the UK that's down, is the auto, you can turn the automatic tuner off and manually tune.
Uh-huh.
And then the button way off is just to turn it off, which is curious,
Yeah.
isn't it? Now maybe it is controlled by the outer ring. The left knob, outer ring, maybe what controls the turns the ferrite.
I think
What's the little knob on the next to the buttons?
over
Little
here on the right.
Yeah.
Oh, those for treble and bass. You
Tone
can do
control.
tone control.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, then that and oh, those are, see this says Straka and music. Those are like the thing of the bless their souls with the Saba, everything lit up. And press the button down, it tells you the button is backlit from the bottom. When you hit the button you want is backlit. And then when you hit the sound register you want, there's a light behind those windows that
Ah,
turns on. So when everything is lit up, it's like, oh, it's like, it's almost the closest thing to a Wurlitzer,
John, I have a picture of one of them live, a video. It's from the spring Kutztown of this year.
Yep.
There was one there
really?
and playing, and I have it queued up. So when you guys get done, I can play it if you want
Oh,
to.
that's
Yeah, sure.
wonderful, Robert.
I could do a
What did the guy want for it? Do you know?
the asking price. This was exactly this radio. It was like a year or two newer than this one.
Yep.
And they were asking, and they had it playing and fully operational. The number was 1400.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's closer to it.
I think he
This
said he
guy,
would have
this
probably.
guy,
I don't
this
know if he
guy
still
in
has it, but he said he might have taken like 8 or 9 for it.
this guy in Friedrichshafen, the radios were gone 2 hours after he put them on the table. And we're talking 6,000 euros is about $6,500.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's somebody really wanted that rail because that is pretty high.
well,
Um,
there are 20,000 people that come to this show,
yeah.
and we were buying and selling Enigmas for $100,000. So,
Yeah.
this looks cheap.
Yeah, that's just pocket change.
They're not like those cheap Americans.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
The radio, boy, I wish I'd heard it play. Nothing.
oh, yeah, they are honestly though, I mean, if you really come to me, if I would take a little less sound, and these are nice radios, but if you want a little more style, go about a little earlier. I like the mid to late 50s when you have the beautiful, the nice cabinet, the wood cabinet. Not that this isn't wood, but they were really nice cabinets, and it just sort of had that classic look and still had the great sound. Now, granted, it wasn't stereo, but as Noah knows, they make do a pretty fine job of making it sound like stereo without it being stereo.
Yeah,
Whereas this
just
thing,
amazing.
so Germans always works as a magic, and it is a terrific rate. I think that's way too much money for it, but 1400 to 2000, even in the upper end, if it's really really nice, I could see. But 6,000, well, I guess like anything, if the market can support it, good for the person.
Okay,
Well, that
let's
was a treat.
video,
How could
Robert.
I not? So yeah, why don't I hand off to Bob? If you got the video, you can
Yeah.
pull up or
Yeah, let me. All right. I have a share screen here.
yeah, you should be good to go.
All right. So let me see if I got this. No, that's not it. All right. Gotta
That's
dig it out.
How
Where'd
wonderful that you have that. Wow.
Yeah, but those when you see them all lit up, the sabas, they're like little Christmas trees. So they are delightful to see all the lights they have. They have. Let me tell you, replacing the bulbs will cost you a bundle.
Okay, here it is.
There must be, if you think about it, every button except for the off button's got is backlit.
Okay, so is that everybody seeing that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah.
let me put the volume on this, and I'll hit play.
All right.
So this is from the.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
Request from Joe in Upper Darby. Thank you, Joe, for your phone call and your requests. Before that, it's been so long.
Yeah, this was top of the line in the early 60s. But it's auto tune. It's got a motor that drives the tuner in there, and it's signal seeking, so you can adjust the sensitivity, and it'll stop on whatever the next station is.
Yep.
Then it will sit there, and if you watch the knob very carefully, it'll jerk back and forth a little,
Yep.
just keeping the signal the strongest. Very
Yep.
hard.
Yeah, it bounces. Yeah.
Another station.
That's great.
It's awesome. It looks so good. If today was with less light, because it looks even more compelling. All the lighting. You can even barely see the button is lit. That's below.
You almost never see them work.
I had a Saba 300 automatic from
Okay, so stop
61 or 2 that had the automatic tuner, and it it needed work because it would bounce back and forth, and finally I gave up on the automatic. I said, okay, this is going to need a lot of surgery, and so I was just manually tuning it. But it's actually a pretty good sounding radio, although it wasn't for a Saba. It was maybe there was some of the lesser sound, as not quite as good sounding as some of the other ones. And I remember
My,
talking
my
about some
better
of that.
half picked up on that video, and when I had finally had an opportunity to walk over there and talk to John about that radio, I was listening to it, and that thing sounded magnificent. I mean, it just was one of the best sounding radios I think I've ever heard. It was that good.
Yeah, no, they are terrific. They really are.
It's
Yeah.
too big to bring home on the airplane.
If only you had.
Enigmas I can handle, sort of, but that's a big radio.
It is. It is. It's got a
But
little.
I had never heard of Saba, and here this guy gave me a college course on Saba. It was amazing. I think
Yeah,
you thought I might buy it.
yeah. It's from the. In fact, they're because they were from the Black Forest region of Germany, where they're made. Is their little symbol is a pine tree as their logo. If you look, there's a pine tree on there, and yeah. I have a Saba Filigan that I'm working on. I have to work on again one of these years. That's a lesser Saba, but still a nice. Everything lights up. The buttons all light up, and it's still like even the bass ones. You didn't.
Hey, bring it to the show sometime, John. That'd be great.
It's a console. That's going to take some doing.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'd have to take my wife's car. I don't want to fit in my Audi, but but uh, yeah, well, that was cool. We killed two birds with one stone. Thank you, Bob. That
I
was
just have one quick thing to
yeah,
say.
yeah, please.
I'm healing from my surgery, and I try not to do a lot, but I just want to add something to the conversation about boats before. There's a local boat dealer that's probably about a mile and a half from my house. It's on the highway, and it's called DNR Boats, and they have a sign, and then they have the big sign DNR Boats, and then they have the thing on there where you have interchangeable letters, like almost like a movie marquee, and you can put stuff up there. And I love looking at internet memes. So with that being said, I never took a picture of this, and it was up there for 6 months, and it said on their little marquee underneath the sign, it says, "Your wife just called and said it's okay to buy the boat."
Yeah.
I wonder how many people got suckered into that.
I don't know. I bought a boat on Lake Hopatcong one time. It was great. Whatever the marina is there.
So
funny.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in K-Town, including Carl. I hope maybe I can lift Carl's spirits a little bit or something after that.
Oh yeah,
Big
you're looking a
punch
lot
to the
better, by
wall.
the way. You're looking a lot better, Bob.
One more
Yeah,
question.
I actually feel better. I've actually lost 17 pounds. You know, it's like and I didn't have to do what Rodney Dangerfield went through. He has this old joke where, a doctor says, "Hey, you got to lose weight," and he says, "What do I do?" He says, "Well, go walk 5 miles a day." So he calls him up 2 weeks later. He says, "Where are you?" He says, "Well, I'm in the middle of the desert." He says, "Why?" He says, "Well, I've been walking 5 miles a day. Can you come pick me up?"
That's good.
That's a good one.
So
That's great.
So
that's it.
John, are we having the off-topic Zoom next tomorrow?
No,
Thursday?
it'll be next Wednesday.
That was a great idea, John.
Wednesday. Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. So we'll be I'll send the email reminder out for that. So you guys will, we'll hopefully we'll see you, and it'll be, just a variety. I know there'll be some good stuff. Tom's already, giving a couple of sneak peeks of some of the abandoned mining equipment in Alaska.
And I just came across some pictures of my old stock car that I raced in Long Island. I think that might be more fun.
Oh, that'll be fun. Look at all that stuff. Who knows? It'll be sort of like, that old thing, race what you brung, so,
Run what you brung.
show what you brung.
Run what you brung.
So,
Exactly.
Tom, are you wearing a leather helmet in that picture?
Pretty close. I'm going to invite a couple of other people. I think you said that was okay, John.
Yeah,
Other car nuts.
that sounds good.
That'll be fun.
John, is the
Okay.
announcement for that on the regular email list?
I have a separate email list called the off topic. And if you haven't seen it, I can add you, Gary, if you're interested.
Yeah, yeah.
I can manually add you because I sent an email saying, okay, if you want to be joined, just let me know or email me if you don't want to, because sometimes, joining the Groups IO it doesn't have the friendliest user interface to go set yourself up. So if you wanted to join, I can manually add if you want, Gary.
Okay, yeah. Could you do that?
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it.
Yes.
That applies to anybody else here that if you haven't signed up and you want to be, just let me know. I'll slap you on the list. I purposely wanted to keep out somewhat of a low profile because I don't want to interfere with the real club Zoom meetings, the club activities. So that's why I didn't want to go to clutter too much people's inboxes, things they don't want to know about. So that's why I did.
Will you announce it to the whole club, or you're not going to do that?
Well, I haven't decided whether I usually was just going to have a separate email list for that. So it goes to the people signed up. I could do it maybe once or twice more to say, hey, if you
Take a
haven't
vote
heard about
of us and see. I'd love to have people know about it. And, there might be a few club members that we don't know are really into cars or mechanics or something. And you get them to come to the meeting. It'd be a lot of fun. My opinion. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
no, I'll tell you what I'll do is maybe I'll throw out one more and say, just in case you didn't know about it, I am doing this. Let me know if you want to be part of it. But I want to keep it to the one email list, but I'll send it to everybody just as a reminder, just in case they, because people get a lot of emails. I know I do, but I try to look at the club stuff.
How about using the constant comment?
Oh, the constant contact. I could throw
Yeah.
that. I could do that. I'll have to ask
Who's
Bob
becoming
or
the Nevic Weekly Net?
yeah, I know. Well, I mean, what? It's kind of fun because we end up always going to tangents. I thought, okay, this really big's having its own meeting. So, and I just was a little bit slow to get it rolling just because of like stuff going on and, even my own life. But yeah, no, Rob, I saw your message by the way, so I'll add you as well.
Thank you.
And that applies if anybody else who, but at any rate, while there's still some time, uh, Greg, what's going on by you?
I got a few things I can show that they're
Yeah.
not necessarily new, but something that you might not be aware of.
No, do share.
Let's see if I can get this to work here. Not the one. Here we go, I think. No, that's not the one I want. I may have to share them separately, but
Oh,
Excellent.
Charlie McCarthy.
Nice.
Now, what you might not realize, there was actually two different versions of the Charlie McCarthy radio.
Wow.
Oh,
Look at the one on the left versus the one on the right. The one on the right,
yeah.
Charlie's looking off to the right, and the one on the left, he's looking straight ahead.
Yeah. So
There
I
was a Charlie
see.
McCarthy 1 and a Charlie McCarthy 2.
I did not know that.
Boy, it takes a real collector to pick that up.
Yes, indeed.
By luck, is the one I happen to have on the left here. And then this one I restored. I painted Charlie by hand
Wow, you did a great job.
with the tester's model paint.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. So you used oil.
Beautiful.
That's
That's great.
fantastic.
Wow.
I had to make the monocle. It was missing that.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you did it. I guess it made sense to do oil because it was originally painted with oil paint, I'm sure, at that point when it was made, out of the factory, right?
It was chipped up pretty bad.
Yeah, that's right. No, it made sense to do because what I was thinking out loud was would I have considered like Tamiya acrylic, but there's something about oil that would match the originality, you know. So I think you did the right thing there. It looks great.
Looks like Charlie on the left spent a little time at the beach.
I'd say so.
Yeah, he's kind
Did
of.
a different paint job on that one. I didn't do that one. But
Those are fantastic.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Very
even,
well
the
done.
way
They
the way
are
he's holding the
nice.
cane is different.
Yeah, but no, you did. Wow, of course, all your restorations are top notch. I didn't realize that the yellowish. I've only seen the white. I don't think I've ever seen the sort of the what I call like sort of like cream.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I didn't paint that one. Somebody else did, and
Oh,
I
it was
don't necessarily.
painted.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's the right color, but
Oh, I see. Okay, but it's just the difference appearance is still worth having. I see. Okay.
Now, is Charlie part of the mold or is he screwed on there? Or?
he's screwed on there. He's like made out of like die cast. I think he is.
Okay.
That makes
So
sense.
he's got a. I think he's got a. Well, there's actually two holes in the backside of him, and they screw tight to the back plate.
No wonder he looks a
One of
little
his top.
quiet.
It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where George's father sits on the silly Jerry. It sits on the sofa.
Well, let me stop sharing. I'll get a different picture. I don't think I can advance this.
Okay, that's awesome. That's truly
Rare if you see one of them and then you have two of them sitting there. That's just outstanding.
well,
That's
especially in such fantastic condition. Yeah,
Yeah,
when you see
they're
them, they're
not
kind
they're not like garage fresh or something.
of.
Here we go. See that's the one. They had a different tag on them too. This
Oh,
might be
really?
the first one. Yeah, this is more of a brass, and then the other one. Let's see if I can advance that. Huh. Well, that one's not doing it either. I'll find it.
Yeah, when in doubt, unshare and reshare, right?
Yeah. Photos. Yeah, it's coming. Here's the other one. The other
Oh,
one was blue.
yeah.
Oh,
Interesting. Huh.
check that out.
Wow.
Big difference. Wow.
So now you know that there was two different Charlies.
Indeed.
Which one is rarer?
That's a good question. I think they're both pretty rare.
Yeah.
No, that's not the one I wanted. It's different when you share things on a tablet because it doesn't have a.
Yeah, the user interface is a little.
Yeah.
Different.
Go back to the gallery here. Yeah, I think it's the same one I had, but this microphone back here. I actually found the dimensions of an original RCA 44 ribbon mic, and that made that from scratch. It's actually wire mesh wrapped around a block of wood. Because
Oh, wow.
I've got an
Beautiful.
Oh,
I've got
Beautiful.
an actual NBC tag microphone flag that's on it from the 40s.
Wow.
Didn't want to spend $4,000 for a microphone, so.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you. Wow. Fabulous job.
And the one next to it, that's actually one of those. I think they came out in the 80s, maybe the early 90s.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had a little thing on top that said "on the air." Well, I took that off of it because then it looks more like a microphone.
Is that a Calrad?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's
beautiful.
Cool. 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 All right. Thank you,
I
Greg. That
knew
was,
I think I showed you
yeah.
the one early when I restored it because it was the cabinet was all busted up, but I don't think I ever showed you the two side by side and the differences.
right. Right. Well, I'll tell you, great work. Um, well, thank you, Greg.
Sure.
Hey, Paul, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, not a whole lot. You guys are a tough act to follow.
That's all right.
The, not much radio stuff. Been doing some hot rod stuff, but I know a couple of you guys probably do mess around with pocket transistor radios. And those are, in case you, they can be a pain to find. Current production 35 ohm
Oh, a speaker.
speakers. Parts Parts Express is getting rid of a lot of that kind of stuff. They're discounting it buck or two a piece. You know, the 16 ohm versions.
Oh, okay.
And the 35 ohms are, it's hard to find a small diameter 35 ohm speaker, but some of the radios, GEs and such, use those.
Mm-hmm.
Or they use something, in that neighborhood. Of course, it doesn't have to be an exact match. So,
Sure.
I bought a box of miscellaneous stuff. And the other thing they had was some of the small trim pots that a lot of the Japanese hi-fi equipment from the early 70s used, and they are a big point of failure. And they're discounting those. I think I paid 28 cents or 88 cents or something like that for them.
Oh,
So if you have, I don't know if any of you folks work on that kind of newer stuff, but that's a good source of parts for them, at least for now. I really wasn't doing much. I didn't do any transistor radio work for the longest time, and the guys in the NJRC kind of put me in the frying pan over that. One fellow reminded me that transistors were, been around since 1947. That makes them antiques. And the other fella kind of prodded me a little bit and goes, "Think of them as triodes without heaters. You'll figure it out." That was Al, Bob.
That was Al. Yeah,
That
that
was
sounds
Al
like an
busting my
Al comment.
Yeah, that was Al busting my chops. So I started messing with transistor stuff, and then Bob Bennett here, of course, he had a
Oh, now bring me into the picture.
yeah,
Thanks,
well, he,
buddy.
he had to put the real fork in me because I was playing around with cheesy cheap ones just to get the hang of it. And he handed me a Royal H500, and now, of course, I have a whole cabinet full of Zenith Royal portable radios, and it's all his fault. He got me going on that.
I gave him one. I picked one up that was relatively inexpensive at Kutztown, and I kind of went through it, and I just gave it to Paul and said, "Here, man, you haven't had a transistor radio until you had one of these."
Yeah, so that became something of an addiction. Now, the upside to that is if I sell off some of my boat anchors, I'll have a lot more room for a whole lot of radios, and they're not hard to lift.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm not that many years from retiring here, and I'm starting to think, well, it's another decade or so. These things are going to be damn heavy.
No question. No
So
question at
that's
all.
really all I have, folks. It's good to
Ah,
meet everybody, and it's nice to have interesting stuff. You guys have some real nice stuff.
yeah, no, glad. No, glad you joined, Paul. Um,
that theory
well,
doesn't work too well. I used to collect boat anchors, and then I went to telegraph keys. And yeah, telegraph keys, they're easy to carry around. but 3,000 telegraph keys,
Oh, God,
a
you built that.
trailer and a truck getting to Dayton every day, every year. Oh, dummy.
Some of the stuff is just outright addictive. You got to mess with it, you know?
That's
So
funny.
watch out. You don't want to end up with 3,000 Zenith 500s.
No, I do not.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Hey, Paul,
Well,
where did you say you had a source of those pots, trim pots that fail?
Parts Express.
Parts Express. Okay.
Yeah,
When you said trim pots, do you mean variable resistors or
yeah,
capacitor?
the little small, no, little small variable resistors.
Part,
Are they
okay. Okay.
are they all 10 turn or are they
No, no, they're single turn.
okay.
They're not per. So that's what you find in a lot of the early 70s Japanese hi-fi equipment.
Hmm.
And they're a very common point of failure, especially on some of the Pioneers. So you can pick up one of those things for a song because they don't work. And you change the trim pots and rebias the things, and they work just fine after that. And I never had much interest in them, but I was given one, so I went ahead and made those repairs on it. And I come to find that's a common problem. In fact, that's what I'm listening to you guys on. I use that to drive my computer speakers. I had to do something with it. So
oh, so um that's awesome. No, I appreciate the this is great, Joe. Paul, I'm sorry, I'm responding to Joe because I'm adding him to the off topic. I happened to see his chat message. Apologies for that. I got distracted for a moment. Um uh Joe, refresh my memory. Type in your last name. I got because I'll add you. I'll just gonna find you on the list, and I'll be all set, and I'll happily add you to the list. In fact, Joe, I don't know if you have audio, but if you don't, feel free to jump in and tell us what you're up to.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Not
are.
much here in Michigan. Yeah, I'm here. Just winding down for the night.
Oh, there we go. I thought that was. I just
Um,
didn't get your last name wrong, but thank you. Got it.
okay, yeah, there it is.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll happily add you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not much here audio related. While I was actually loading stuff into my car, the Michigan swap meets 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't know, first weekend of October. So bringing stuff to my parents' house because they're on the other side of the state, about an hour away from where that swap meets at. So it's like nickel and diamond over to their house and then bring some over there. So, as I always say, hopefully I get rid of everything, but you know, half of it always comes home and then 75% more comes home.
Yeah,
Yep.
yes, indeed.
That's what happens.
But well, glad you found a way to jump in and join us late there, Joe. Better late than never.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But so let's see here. We're almost at the end. I will briefly just share a couple of things going with me. Not a whole lot of vintage electronics, but Tom, you inspired me to show one picture in just a moment. My biggest excitement was over Labor Day weekend. I did go down on Friday and Saturday to Lime Rock Park for the vintage sports car races. So I was there and had a great time. So a friend of mine has a season pass, so he got me a Insider Club. I had to pay for it, but it was well worth it because I went into the Insider Club so that way I could spend some time with um, you get meals. I mean, when you look at the face value, what I paid too much, but it was well worth it. They have their own bathrooms and things like that. It's just so much easier. But nice thing is, I walked in. I was just walking in to get a water and use the bathroom, and out walking was David Hobbs. So I had a chance to meet David Hobbs briefly. He was on his way up. I had a chance to meet him. And then if anyone, whoever, if you guys have ever watched Formula One back in the 90s, 2000s, maybe as late as 2010, he and Bob Varsha were the broadcasters, and Bob Varsha was there giving a little talk. So they were there at the event, and they Bob Varsha gave a little talk. So it was nice. I got to enjoy that. So it was a spectacular day on Saturday. So the weather was just, if you could bottle up and take it wherever you went, that would be the day to have. So, saw lots of fun, neat cars and stuff like that. And probably on the off topic, I even show some neat pictures of some neat stuff that went on the track. And so then in closing, I'll show a quick picture because I'll just show a picture of a Saba, not a Freiburg, but one that's and with more dim lit, which looks great with the lighting. Let me just quickly share my screen. Oh, did I share? No, I didn't yet. Here, I gotta hit the button. That would help. And here we go. Now this is a 300 automatic, a much lesser brother to the Freiburg. But the nice thing is, it looks even better when it's even more dimly lit. But you can see the button is lit from underneath. I have the various sound buttons on, so you have they're backlit, the little windows. When, of course, there's the tuning eye, and of course, when the automatic tuner is on, there's a little red light, and sitting on top of it is the Christmas tree, the tree from the Black Forest. So that's a little bit of Saba there for you, but that's just
cool.
a quick little picture. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. But at any rate, I've since sold that radio, but that's a different story. Can't keep everything. And if I was going to get a Saba, I'm going to have to just ante up for a really nice one someday. But anyway, it was terrific having you guys. It was a great meeting, fun stories, interesting things to talk about. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And a week from now will be the off topic, and of course, then 2 weeks from today will also be our next full, traditional NEVIC meeting. Probably more pictures from. Well, actually, I can even park the Brookline because I want to see what we have from Cuttstown. So we'll probably dedicate to Cuttstown.
Quickly, before you shut down, Gary Norman, I just sent you a private link with the ice bags.
I just found it.
Okay.
And I tried copying. I tried to copy it, so I hope it holds that copy so I could paste it in the web browser.
Okay.
When the Zoom meeting is over.
You can't just click on it?
Well, I'm not sure. Okay, I can. Oops. Yes, and I was able to come back. It took me a couple of seconds, but
good.
I figured out how to come back here.
Sorry about that all.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. This is
Anybody wants a nice bag for flea markets and Hamfests, I'll send it to everybody if you want.
Good to know. Well, guys.
Did it.
Oh,
nice job.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Well, and 20% off.
I spoke to him. Said anybody from NEVIC checks in.
There we go. Lands in, open the handle, canvas tote bag.
Yeah, thank you, Carl.
Yep.
All right, boys. Well, it was terrific. I guess I'll see some of you guys or many of you guys in a week. And if some of those who otherwise, I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. So meanwhile, enjoy the weather. Hopefully it'll be kind to you. It's been pretty nice here. And save your nickels and dimes for Fall Brookline.
Okay, take care.
And Kutztown, of course. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Good night, guys. Stay healthy.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.